So, in breaking news in the sports card world, PSA, the top grading company, has decided to temporarily pause submissions on value orders. And for some of you that aren't aware of all this, this might be like, what are you talking about? So I'll give you a little bit of background, and for those that are of course aware, just bear with me while I explain this really quick. I'm not going to go into super crazy details, but basically, cards in general, sports cards or Pokemon cards have gotten really big. So in this case, I'll focus on just hockey cards in the sense that over the last 3-4 years, especially after COVID, there's been a huge boom. Myself included, I got back into cards right after COVID, or I should say during COVID. And last time I collected was as a kid when everybody had, the Eric Lindros rookies and the Yarmar Yager rookies and the Ken Griffey Jr. Seattle Mariners card. Those cards are all worth like nothing because there were so many of them printed back then. So it was called the junk wax era. But nowadays, newer cards have picked up. And so for hockey, especially in terms of their flagship product, Upper Deck, who is the licensed card manufacturer for the NHL, Young Guns is the name of the rookie cards. And every year they release two, used to do just two series, Series 1 and Series 2. And in each set, they would have 50 new rookie cards. And in some cases, there was a lot of no-name guys. No offense to those players. Obviously, making it to the NHL is a big deal, but they're not big players. They're not. Some of those guys might have just played a game or two in the league and never played again, but they have their rookie card. And then, of course, there's also going to be the superstars or the hotshot rookies that you want to get a piece of that are going to come out in these series. And so now, after COVID, they also had started, it's called Extended Series. So it's like a later release. And so now they've distributed amongst 3 different sets. And is that really a smart idea? I don't think so. And I'm not going to get into the details of that at this point. But basically, just so you know, at a high level, for example, Series 1 comes out usually around November, around there sometime, October, November. Series 2 usually comes out in March. And then Extended Series, the dates sometimes vary. And in this case, Extended Series is coming out June 3rd. PSA announced today on May 28th that they're shutting down value bulk submissions as of June 2nd. So what does that mean? So what that means is that the cards that you open from a pack, what you do is you package them up, safely, send them to PSA, which is, professional sports authentication. They do memorabilia, they do a lot of everything, but cards is their big one. And they've gone into Pokemon cards and stuff as well now. But what they do is they will you send your card. So let's say you have a rookie card of Connor Bedard, you send it over to them. They're going to have people that look at it that are professional graders. They're going to grade the card, give it a rating out of 1 to 10. And then after that, they encase it in like this card holder slab is what the terminology is that most people call it, and then send it back to you. And you can do what you want with it, right? In most cases, it's changed over the years because it's not just about collectors. There's also a lot of people that are just flippers. So what they want to do is they don't really care. They're not attached to a card. Some people have a collection. They want to complete that collection. They want to put it in their, like in their set together and put their set together and look at it, put it somewhere that they can, show it off and all that. Flippers are just people that will come in and out. They want to get a card, they'll get it graded, it increases the value of the card, sell it, rinse, repeat, like all over again. So to give you an example, the values of cards changes, and some of these rookie cards, the Young Guns cards, are worth like 10 cents, $1, $2. And those are usually guys that aren't going to amount to much. But then, the regular guys, their cards will average anywhere from maybe $5 up to $30, $40 raw. And then what happens is if you grade that card, it usually doubles it, triples it in value. It depends on who it is, right? Rookie card wise, like if it's someone that's a big player, their value goes up higher. If it's someone that's not a big star, their value is not as high, even if it's a graded, it comes back a perfect 10. Now the PSA 10 on the markets, eBay, Facebook, Fanatics, there's all these different websites where you can go in and buy cards. The market determines the price, and PSA 10s always sell for a premium. So even though there's other grading companies, and so you can have a card that's a 10 graded by some other company, The exact same card graded by PSA as a 10 will just have more value. And in a weird way, it doesn't really make much sense when you think about it, but that's just how it is. And so, you have your base cards, which are the regular rookie cards, but then there's also different variations. You can get serial numbered cards. And so there's, cards numbered out of 250 and out of 100, out of 10, like 25. And now there's also an exclusive gold outburst, which is just the one of one. That means there's a rookie card in gold color, and it's, they started that during the Bedard season. And so obviously, all these companies, Topps now owns football, basketball, and baseball, whereas Upper Deck exclusively has hockey. They've had hockey forever. I think since like 1990 or 91. So they're the official licensee. And so they release these cards and, you get them graded, whatever, and you can sell them. And now what happened is when you send in a card, you always got to declare the value of it. And so if it's like a lower end card, you can send in bulk orders, and it's like $20 a card to get it graded. Usually it would take about 4 to 6 weeks for it to come back, and you get the card, and that's like $20 US, right? USD, give or take. The prices have changed, and I'm not going to be on. I haven't been following them that closely, to be honest, what they are, so I don't know them off the top of my head or anything. I'm just giving you a ballpark here. And then over time, PSA has been slammed because a lot more people have gotten into sports cards, and they've been releasing a lot of different sets, a lot of rookie cards, and people send everything in to get graded. In some cases, it's for their collection. In some cases, or most cases, to flip it and make some money. So what happened is people send in bulk orders. So it's like value is like the lower end pricing. They have different tiers of pricing. If it's a high end card, you obviously, if it's a $5,000 card, you're not going to be complaining about paying $300 to get it graded, because it's going to be worth a lot, right? So they have different values assigned depending on what the card is worth. So now, as of June 2nd, they've suspended value submissions, which means that you can't send in at a lower end. So unless you have a high-end card, which you might want to send in regardless at a higher price and quicker turnaround time, you're not going to be sending any cards to grade. And so that means that when Extended Series gets released, the two of the bigger guys in that set for rookie cards is Beckett Seneca and Berkeley Catton. They're Young Guns cards in those sets, and you're not going to be able to send them in unless you want to pay a premium at a higher price to send it in, which makes 0 sense. Because even if you grade the card, it shouldn't be worth that much. Now, we have seen a big spike in value for certain cards, and in different situations. It's kind of strange, right? Like, for example, the craze for grading went crazy with Connor Bedard. His card, I think PSA 10s, there's almost 8,000. I think there's 7,900 and something that are out there. And that's just PSA 10s. Don't forget there's also ones that grade 9, 8, 7, right? Like the card, if it's dinged up in the corner. A gem mint card is a perfect card where the centering is great. There's no surface issues, no scratches, and the corners are perfect. That card gets a 10. If there's anything off, depending on what it is, they have different grading, and so your value is lower. Typically, a PSA 9 and a raw are usually about the same in terms of value, whereas a 10 obviously is a premium. So what that means is they said they have a 10 million card backlog at PSA. So they're going to be stuck for a while trying to send these cards, back to everybody. They're not going to be opening up the value submission apparently for at least 4 months. So that means if the start of June, it's all the way till training camp. And if they're sending in, that's just, a safe assumption. So at this point, if you're sending your cards in, you're going to be stuck sending in cards for you're going to be waiting for your cards for a while. And so you're going to have to start thinking what you want to do with some of these cards. Are you just going to sell it raw? And also, this will probably raise the floor for some of the PSA 10s that are out there. So keep that in mind as well, including whatever you might have. Because now for some of the ones that there isn't a higher number available on 10s, which is called the POP, the population report, in terms of how many cards are out there. If the POP for a card is lower, it might actually have a higher value. So keep that in mind if you're trying to sell a card, or if you are wanting to buy a card. You might be waiting a while, because if you find something, grab it when you can. If you want any more comments, questions, want me to address something else regarding cards, please put it in the comments and I will get back to you. Talk to you later.